Have you ever wondered where the Quran came from and why it is so important to over 1 billion people? What are the central messages and themes that this holy book conveys to its followers? In this video, we will delve into the heart of the Quran, exploring its rich history and the timeless themes that offer hope, guidance, and solace to billions. The Quran, meaning recitation, is not just a book, but a guide. Its story begins in the heart of Arabia in a time of ignorance and idolatry. The world was about to change, and at its center was a man named Muhammad, peace be upon him, who would soon become the prophet of Islam. One night, in the cave of Hira, a moment occurred that would change history forever. Muhammad, peace be upon him, seeking solitude and reflection, encountered the angel Gabriel. The angel's command was simple yet powerful. Read. In Arabic, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa. Read in the name of your Lord who created. This was the first revelation, marking the beginning of a journey that would span 23 years and culminate in the Quran as we know it today. Before the Quran was revealed, Arabia was a land of tribalism and idol worship. The people had many gods, and there was little knowledge of monotheism. In this setting, the Quran began its journey of revelation, starting with a single night that changed everything. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known for his honesty and kindness. He often retreated to the cave of Hira to meditate. It was during one of these retreats that the angel Gabriel appeared to him. Gabriel's command was, read. Muhammad, peace be upon him, replied that he could not read. Gabriel repeated the command, and finally, Muhammad, peace be upon him, felt the words of the first revelation flow through him in Surah Al-Alaq, 96, verse 1. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa. Read in the name of your Lord who created. This marked the beginning of 23 years of revelation. Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the Quranic verses at various times and places. These revelations guided every aspect of life, from personal conduct to social justice. In the early years, the revelations were secretive. Muhammad, peace be upon him, shared them only with his close family and friends. His wife, Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, was the first to believe in his prophethood. His friend Abu Bakr and his cousin Ali also accepted Islam early on. They and a few others began to follow Muhammad's, peace be upon him, teachings. As the message of Islam spread, it faced strong opposition from the Quraysh tribe, the rulers of Mecca. They felt threatened by Muhammad's, peace be upon him, call to abandon idol worship and embrace monotheism. Despite the hostility, they grew steadily. The Quranic revelations addressed various issues faced by the early believers. They offered comfort and encouragement during times of persecution. For instance, during the early days of Islam, they were reassured in the Quran in Surah Al-Muzammil, 73 verse 10. Wasbir ala ma yakulun wahjurhum hajran jamilan. And be patient over what they say and avoid them with gracious avoidance. As more people embraced Islam, the revelations addressed the growing needs of the Muslim community. They provided laws and principles for personal conduct, family relations, and community life. The Quran emphasized justice, compassion, and righteousness, calling on Muslims to live ethically and morally. One of the most significant revelations during this period was the verse known as Ayat al-Kursi in Surah Al-Baqarah, 2 verse 255, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of existence. The revelations guided individual behavior and addressed broader social and economic issues. They called for the fair treatment of the poor, orphans and women, challenging the existing social norms of pre-Islamic Arabia. The Quran's teachings on charity, justice and equality began to reshape the society. The revelation of the Quran spanned 23 years, and during this time, the verses were memorized and written down by the companions of the Prophet. The early Muslims took the task of preserving the Quran very seriously. During Prophet Muhammad's lifetime, peace be upon him, the Quran was not compiled into a single book. Instead, it was recorded on various materials such as parchment, bones, and leather. The primary method of preservation was memorization. Many companions memorized the entire Quran, and this tradition continues to this day. After the Prophet's death, there was a need to compile the Quran into a single written manuscript. This task was undertaken during the Caliphate of Abu Bakr, the first Caliph of Islam. The Battle of Yamama, which occurred shortly after the Prophet's death, resulted in the loss of many companions who had memorized the Quran. This loss highlighted the urgent need for a written compilation to preserve the Quran's integrity. Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, appointed Zayd ibn Haritha, a trusted companion and scribe of the Prophet, to lead the compilation project. Zayd ibn Haritha was chosen because of his deep knowledge of the Quran and his experience as a scribe. He gathered the various written fragments of the Quran and cross-referenced them with the memories of those who had memorized it. This meticulous process ensured the accuracy of the compilation. The result was a complete written manuscript of the Quran, which was kept with Abu Bakr and later passed to the second Caliph Umar, and eventually to Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her, the daughter of Umar and one of the Prophet's wives. During the Caliphate of Uthman, the third Caliph, the need for a standardized version of the Quran became apparent. Islam had spread to various regions, and differences in recitation and dialects began to emerge. To prevent discrepancies, Uthman ordered the creation of several copies of the Quran based on the manuscript compiled by Zayd ibn Haritha. Zayd ibn Haritha once again led the project, ensuring the copies were accurate and standardized. These copies were then distributed to the major Islamic centers of the time, such as Mecca, Medina, Kufa, Basra, and Damascus. Uthman also ordered that any other versions or fragments be destroyed to prevent confusion. As it came to be known, the Uthmanic Codex became the definitive version of the Quran. This process ensured that the Quran remained unchanged and preserved in its original form. The Uthmanic Codex is the same Quran that is recited and memorized by Muslims around the world today. The preservation of the Quran is seen as a divine promise in the Islamic faith. The Quran itself states in Surah Al-Hijr 15 verse 9, "Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun." Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed, we will be its guardian. The Quran is unique in its structure and content. Unlike other books, it is not arranged chronologically, but is divided into 114 chapters called surahs. Each surah varies in length, with the longest being Surah Al-Baqarah and the shortest being Surah Al-Kawthar. The Quran is also divided into 30 equal sections called juz, which makes it easier for Muslims to recite it over a month, especially during Ramadan. Each surah is composed of verses known as ayahs. The total number of ayahs in the Quran is over 6,000. One of the Quran's most distinctive features is its linguistic beauty. It is written in classical Arabic, and its verses are known for their poetic and rhythmic style. This linguistic excellence is seen as a miracle, especially considering that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was unlettered. The themes and messages of the Quran are vast and profound. They cover every aspect of life, providing guidance on personal conduct, family relations, social justice, and spirituality. One of the central themes of the Quran is the oneness of God, known as Tawhid. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes that there is no deity except Allah, and everything in the universe is a testament to His existence and greatness. Another key theme is the concept of prophethood. The Quran mentions many prophets, including Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, peace be upon them, all of whom conveyed God's message to humanity. Muhammad, peace be upon him, is considered the final prophet, and the Quran is the final revelation. The Quran also provides detailed guidance on moral and ethical conduct. It encourages virtues such as honesty, kindness, patience, and humility. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2 verse 83 it says, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا, and speak to people good words. Social justice is another important theme in the Quran. It advocates for the fair treatment of all individuals, regardless of their social or economic status. It calls for the protection of the rights of the poor, orphans, and women. The Quranic principle of justice is encapsulated in the following verse in Surah An-Nisa 4 verse 135. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a bil qisti. O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm for Allah, witnesses in justice. The Quran also addresses the afterlife, describing in vivid detail the concepts of heaven and hell. It reminds believers of the temporary nature of this world and encourages them to strive for the eternal rewards of the hereafter. Surah Al-Imran 3 verse 185 says, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Every soul will taste death, and you will only be given your full compensation on the day of resurrection. The Quran's messages are not limited to Muslims alone. It addresses all of humanity, calling for unity, peace, and understanding. It invites people to reflect on the signs of God in the universe and within themselves. In Surah Fusilat 41 verse 53, سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. The Quran has had a profound impact on the Muslim community and the world at large. Its influence extends beyond religious practices to various aspects of life, including culture, law, and science. One of the most significant impacts of the Quran is its role in shaping the identity and values of the Muslim community. The Quran provides a comprehensive guide for living a life that pleases God, and its teachings are reflected in the daily lives of Muslims. From prayer to charity, the Quranic principles guide Muslims in their spiritual and moral conduct. The Quran's emphasis on education and knowledge has also had a lasting impact. It encouraged the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, which led to the flourishing of science, medicine, and philosophy during the Islamic Golden Age. Written in Surah Az-Zumar 39 verse 9, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Say, are those who know equal to those who do not know? In addition to its influence on science and education, the Quran has also shaped the legal and social systems in many Muslim-majority countries. Islamic law, or Sharia, is derived from the Quran and the Hadith, the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Sharia encompasses all aspects of life, including marriage, finance, and criminal justice. It promotes justice, equality, and the protection of human rights. The Quran's call for social justice has also inspired many movements and organizations dedicated to helping the disadvantaged. The principles of charity and compassion are central to Islamic teachings, and the Quran encourages Muslims to support those in need. One of the key verses on charity is written in Surah Al-Baqarah, 2 verse 110, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, and establish prayer and give zakah. Zakah, or almsgiving, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and a fundamental practice that ensures the redistribution of wealth and support for the poor. The Quran's influence extends beyond the Muslim community. Its messages of peace, justice, and compassion resonate with people of all faiths. The Quran calls for respect and understanding between different religious and cultural groups. One of the verses that highlights this message is Surah Al-Hujurat, 49 verse 13. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu. O mankind, indeed, we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. This verse emphasizes the importance of diversity and mutual respect, promoting harmony and understanding among different communities. The Quran's literary and linguistic beauty has also had a lasting impact on Arabic literature and language. Its eloquence and depth have inspired poets and writers throughout the centuries. The Quran's use of classical Arabic has preserved the language in its purest form, influencing the development of Arabic grammar and literature. The Quran's poetic and rhythmic style has made it accessible for memorization. People known as Hafiz have memorized the entire Quran, and this tradition continues to be a central part of Islamic education. The memorization and recitation of the Quran are considered acts of devotion, and they play a crucial role in preserving the text across generations. The Quran has also contributed to the arts, especially in the form of calligraphy. Quranic verses are often depicted in beautiful calligraphic designs, adorning mosques, manuscripts, and various forms of Islamic art. This artistic expression reflects the deep reverence Muslims have for the Quran and its teachings. The Quran story is profound and wide-ranging, serving as a spiritual guide and a source of wisdom for people across all backgrounds. It encourages ethical living and the pursuit of knowledge, justice, and understanding among diverse communities. Originating from divine revelations to its unaltered preservation today, the Quran guides over 1 billion people globally. It shapes the Islamic community's identity through teachings on monotheism, ethics, social justice, and the afterlife. Its influence extends into science, medicine, and the arts and promotes peace and understanding across cultures and faiths. The Quran's story highlights its timeless relevance and significant impact on humanity, offering insights whether one seeks to deepen their faith or explore its teachings for the first time. May the grace and mercy of Allah be with you as you continue on your journey. Thank you for your support. Like and subscribe for more enriching videos, and may Allah reward you